He flipped through the album on the floor, smiling at the memories. He reached some of the pictures that were unfamiliar. I wish I remembered these, Yugi thought. Yugi set the album aside and took out the one labelled Friends. He saw pictures of himself with Taya from when they were younger. He also noticed that there were pictures of himself, Joey, Tristan and Taya. He later saw some with Ryu added in. Bakura, photo bombing as ever. Then there were pictures of Atamu, Yami, Marek, Malik and Bakura too. Heiba came in later. These must all be pictures that were taken. Welcome, Captain Obvious, to the room, everyone. I guess I kept up keeping photo albums and did it secretly, Yugi thought. Yugi put the photo album aside and took out the last one. Yami and me. I guess we're close friends. Close enough that I wanted to do one of just us, Yugi thought. He started to look through the album. Many of the pictures were just of the two together, doing things friends do. Yugi smiled. Yami and I must be really close. It must be hard for him to know that I don't remember him, Yugi thought. Yugi kept flipping through the album, but suddenly stopped. One picture was of Yugi and Yami on the park. They must be pretty big then. Nothing unusual about that. What was unusual was the fact that Yami had his arms wrapped around Yugi's waist and was kissing him. Yugi had his arms around Yami's neck and seemed to be enjoying the kiss. What is this? Yugi asked himself. Or, as Barry Burton would say, what? What is this? He kept on flipping and found other pictures like that. In some, Yami just had his arms wrapped around Yugi. In others, he was kissing Yugi's neck with Yugi laughing. In others, Yugi was just sitting in Yami's lap. Yami and I were dating, Yugi thought. His eyes suddenly widened as suddenly realization overtook him. He's my boyfriend, Yugi thought. Well, that's kind of what, dating means anyway. Yami was sitting on the couch. He was enjoying the book that he was reading. Yami! Yami looked up from his book and over at Yugi, who was standing in the doorway with what looked like a photo album in his hand. What is it, Yugi? Yami asked. Yugi walked into the room. Can I ask you a question? You will be completely honest with me? Yugi asked. Sure, Yugi. What is it? Yami asked, marking his place in his book and setting it aside. He took his drink and took sip while waiting for Yugi to ask his question. Are you the one that I was dating before I lost my memory? Yugi asked. Yami nearly choked on his drink. He put it down as he coughed. Yugi walked over and patted Yami on the back to help him. Yami recovered and said, What made you ask me that? This, Yugi said, showing Yami the photo album he had found. Yami flipped through it, startled. Where did you find this? Yami asked. Well, I was going through our closet. I was hoping to find something to jog my memory. I found a box with my name on it, Yugi said. The one at the back of the closet? Yami asked. No, the other boxes with your name on it. Yugi nodded. You asked me not to go through it, and I respected that. This was in there? Yami asked. Along with two others. One was marked family, and the other was marked friends, Yugi said. Yes, because, as we all know, photo albums are the most secretive thing a person could have. They don't want anyone seeing a photo album. Though, to be fair, I think sitting through a photo album is most people's idea of torture. I don't know why you did this, Yami said. I do, Yugi said. Yami looked over at him. I had a habit when I was younger of making photo albums of things in my life. Originally just had friends and family. I guess I made one of us when we got together, Yugi said. He looked over at Yami. You were the one I was dating, right? Yugi asked. Yami smiled. Yes, I was, Yami said. Yugi sat down beside him. Why didn't you tell me? Yugi asked. Dr. Reed thought it would be better if you remembered things on your own. That's why I didn't tell you. If you had asked directly if I was like now, I would have told you, Yami said. Wasn't it hard? Yugi asked. Well, not as hard as it was in some of those photos, but I digress. Very. Especially when Tyler pulled that stunt. I would have murdered him if Heiba hadn't stopped me, Yami said. Ah, one of our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. A would-be murderer. Yugi sighed. I'm sorry that I don't remember, Yugi said. It's not your fault, Yugi. I know that, Yami said. He then looked back at the album. Although I do like this album, Yami said. We just need to bind it in some sort of leather. So, I never showed it to you? Yugi asked. No, I never knew about it. Like I said, you asked me not to look in the box, and I didn't, Yami said. Well, this is a lot for me, Yugi said. Yugi, I understand if you feel uncomfortable with this, Yami said. Yugi smiled. Yami, I don't think you get it. Ever since I came home from the hospital, I've always felt weird about you, Yugi said. Yeah, I get that a lot as well. Weird? Yami asked. Not sure he liked that. Again, my response. Bad choice was wording. Anyway, I just felt different. I always felt safe and calm with you. I was always at ease. Plus, I always felt my heart go wild whenever you were around, Yugi said. Yami was shocked. You mean you felt something for me? Yami asked. Yes. Deep revulsion and disgust. Oh no, wait, sorry, I'm conflicting story with reality at the moment. Anyway, Yugi blushed. Yeah. I wasn't sure what it was until I talked to Heiba this morning, Yugi said. His eyes suddenly widened. That sneak! He knew we were together, and he didn't say a word to me! Yugi exclaimed. Yami chuckled. That sounds like Heiba. He was following what Dr. Reed said. Anyway, what did he tell you? Yami asked. He told him to tell you. Now I know why, Yugi said. Yeah, he knew I would have been happy, Yami said. Yugi sighed. I just wish I could remember, Yugi said. You will, Yami said, patting Yugi's shoulder. Well, now that I know we were dating before all this, can I ask you a few questions? Yugi asked. Shoot, Yami replied. Were we still together? Yugi asked. Yes, Yami answered. How long have we been together? Yugi asked. A little over 2 years, Yami said. Okay, well, were we sleeping together? Yugi asked, blushing and unable to meet Yami's eyes. Well, not in the way you're thinking, Yami said. Yugi looked over at him curiously. What do you mean? Yugi asked. Well, we slept in the same bed together. I rarely slept in mind. But we'd never made love, Yami said. Oh, Yugi said. Yami smiled. We just hadn't been ready to take that step yet, Yami said. And Heiba and Adamu are, and we've been together longer than them, Yugi asked. Yeah, don't ask. I try not to delve too much into their sex life, Yami said, shuddering at the thought. Yugi smiled. I suppose so, Yugi agreed. Yugi, what do you want to do about this? I understand anything you want to do in this, Yami said. The last thing he wanted was for Yugi to break things off, but he would understand. Well, I can't say we can pick up where we left off, but I know I have feelings for you, so I suppose we could just start over, Yugi said. Yami could live with that. That's all right by me, Yami said. Yugi leaned back against the couch. I just wish I could remember. It's getting really irritating not being able to remember, Yugi said. Yami patted his arm. You'll remember in time, Yami said. I hope so, Yugi said. He glanced over and noticed Yami rubbing his neck. He then saw the necklace around his neck. That's usually where necklaces are. It was the white half of the yin and yang necklaces. Yami noticed Yugi staring. Yugi, are you okay? Yami asked. Yugi didn't answer. Instead, he reached over and took the necklace in his hand, looking at it. Yugi? Yami said again. Memory. Ooh. Yeah, I don't have a sound effect. I'm crap like that. Here, Yami, Yugi said, handing Yami a gift. What's this? Yami asked, taking it. Well, we've been together for a year, so I got you something, Yugi said. Yami chuckled. So did I, Yami replied, handing Yugi a gift as well. Open yours, Yami, Yugi said excitedly. Yami did and found the white half of the yin and yang necklace inside. He took it out by the chain. What's this? Yami asked. Well, you and I are light and dark, so I thought that this would fit us perfectly, Yugi said. So, why didn't you give me the black one? I mean, it's the one that represents dark, Yami said. You racist. Well, you get the white one as a symbol that you belong to me. You're mine, bitch, and to remind you of me, and I'll keep the black one to remind me of you and show that I belong to you, Yugi said, pulling the black half from underneath his shirt to show Yami that he already had it on. Yami smiled. I like that idea, Yugi. Thank you, Yami said. He leaned over and kissed Yugi. Yugi smiled back. I'm glad that you like it, Yugi said. Yami undid the clasp and put the necklace around his neck before redoing the clasp. I really do love it, Yugi, Yami said. More than you, anyway. Ha 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 ha. End memory. Ooh. Just imagine the Doctor Who theme music or something. Yugi? Yami tried again. I gave this to you on our first anniversary, Yugi said quietly. Yami's eyes widened. You remember that? Yami asked. Yeah, it's weird. I remember giving it to you, Yugi said. Yami's eyes brightened. Insert Bright Eyes by Art Garfunkel here. Yugi, you remembered something. This might mean you'll start to get your memory back, Yami said, hugging Yugi. I hope so, Yugi said, thinking how right it felt being in Yami's arms. He then realized something. Yami, where's my half of it? Yugi asked. Yami let go of Yugi. Well, you couldn't have it on while you were in the hospital, so I brought it home. It's in our room, Yami said. The two headed upstairs and Yami got the necklace out of his drawer. I was saving it for when you remembered, Yami said, putting the necklace around Yugi's neck. Thanks, Yami, Yugi said. I was glad to, Yugi, Yami replied. I'm glad he knows about us at least, and he does remember something. Maybe he'll remember more later, Yami thought. Atamu and Haber returned home that night to find Yugi and Yami on the couch together, and they were sitting awfully close. Something going on? Haber asked. Yeah. When I was talking to you this morning, you kindly forgot to mention the fact that I was dating Yami when I lost my memory, Yugi said. Haber's eyes widened. You told him, Yami? Haber exclaimed. Only when he asked me, Yami said, pointing at the photo album. Atamu and Haber looked at it and realized why Yugi asked. Oh, that's different, Haber said. So? What does this mean for you two? Atamu asked. Virtually starting over, Yugi said. Well, the fact that you were already having feelings for him added to that, Haber said. Yes, I am well aware of that, Haber, Yugi said. Plus, Yugi did remember when he gave me this, Yami said, holding the necklace. You did? Haber asked. Yes, I did, Yugi said. That's good. Maybe you'll more of your memory back soon, Atamu said. I hope that's true, Yugi said. It's a start anyway, Haber said. The two were glad that Yugi was starting to remember, but no one was happier than Yami because he could be Yugi's boyfriend again. He was closer to getting his Aibu back. Beautiful. Beautiful. Author's note. Hope you liked it. The last sentence meant that Yami was a bit closer to getting Yugi back. He'll feel like Yugi's back when he has the memory. Just to explain it. Next, some drama in school. R&R.